I'd like to talk a little bit more now about the actual lockup, since we covered the sear. Now, you'll notice when we were moving the bolt, I talked about primary extraction. Primary extraction develops in the locking lugs. Now, I'm going to pull a bolt out first to show you what we're going to talk about. Okay, we have two locking lugs on the infield bolt. We have this short lug here, and we have the long lug here. And the locking surface, obviously, is the rear portion. Now, on the rifle itself, you can see this side quite easily, where the locking surface would be right on this side. On this side, like lots of things in life, sometimes they go easy and sometimes they go hard. Now, we can get the spring in and we can work against our cardboard. And the spring popped out. Okay, let's try that again. We've got our spring in place. We can rotate the extractor up in the position, feeling it back in there because we don't want to move the spring from its position. Okay? Now, it snapped right in. You can see how far up the spring actually comes on the extractor. Now, we have our small screw. It drops through the axis hole in the extractor. And we're going to screw that screw in. Now that we've got the extractor in there, what we can do, we can take one of our dummy rounds and slide it in there. The infield was made in many different countries over a long period of time. You can actually still find at gun shows brand new parts, actually brand new parts in the original wraps. Here we have bands, we have bolt heads, we have springs, firing pin springs, and many other parts are available brand new in the original wrap. And they make a nice addition to a collection. And if you're using infield rifles, the parts always come in handy. Now, when the rifles were issued, there were many different kinds of manuals that were issued. In the 30s, they issued a manual. It was actually a nice little hardbound book, Instructions for Armorers. Now, what they also had, which are quite nice, were actually, I've got a bare bottom forend here to show you some of the things. Now, obviously, the action sets in this area here that was inletted at the factory. Now, what we want to check is where the bearing points are. We can take just a simple piece of paper, slide it under the barrel, and we can slide it this whole length to see where it bears. Now, you may find that it bears right in this area of the reinforcement. That was one of the patterns of bedding. Personally, I kind of like to have the barrel free float all the way up to the front. Now, at this angle, you may be able to see that this section right here is actually raised higher. And what that does, it preloads and bears against the end of the barrel. The factory sought to have a 3 to 5 pound pressure here that would lift the barrel from the bearing. Now, you can check that if you take